Hi, my name's Ben Williams. I'm a lieutenant with Westlake Fire Department. I'm going to go over a couple videos for you for the stairwell and hallway stretch for the mid-rise auto-aid training. Just a quick overview. Our bundle is 150 feet of 1.75 inch. It's got a smooth bore nozzle on the end of it. You'll notice in the training video, the couplings are all painted red. It's out of service hose, so I painted it red so nobody would get mixed up and put it in service. And then these hoses have a big mark spray painted on the halfway point, so 25 feet on each section of hose. Not all of our hoses are like that, but it's a good idea, and you'll see it comes into play in a couple spots. So I'm going to play these videos, and I'll kind of cut out, go back to the video, and I'll just kind of narrate what's going on. You'll see that I'm kind of talking to myself in these videos, kind of walking myself through what's going on here. The first one that we're going to do is the stairwell deployment. This is for a untenable hallway. So as we come up, we're on the floor below the fire floor. We're going to drop the bundle and open it up, and we've got it set up to where there's an attack section and a supply section is kind of how we refer to it. You can see there I shoulder the attack section, I leave the supply section, and I want to maintain that attack section on my shoulder, and anything that plays out, I want to play out from the supply side below. Again, this is for a stairwell deployment, so the hallway is untenable. When we get up there, we open the door to the hallway and we see that it's charged with smoke. Maybe on the way out, the occupant didn't shut the door and the fire's made its way into the hallway. So now we're here on the fire floor. I'm going to set the attack section down, nozzle toward the door. You see me talking to myself here. And then what we want to do next is we want to use this half landing to our advantage to flake out some of this hose. Real quick, this deployment will apply to the Shaw Lane and Round Rock training facilities. The Oak Hill training facility doesn't have a back and forth stairwell like this. It's a straight run. And so instead of going to a half landing, you can just stretch all the way up the full set of stairs up to the next flight. So here is where that mark comes in handy. I grab that halfway point. Talk to myself for a second, and then I pull that up to the next half landing. And I say don't deploy it past the landing because you don't want the hose to get stuck. The point being there is that you don't want to go around that railing because once you charge it, you don't want to risk that hose getting caught anywhere. And once you open the door to the fire floor, you don't want anybody positioned above that door, because if we're saying that that's a non-tenable hallway and there's heat and smoke, once you open that doorway, all that's going to come into the stairwell. You don't want to position people above that, so you don't want anybody on that half landing up there to have to manage that hose. So if you just go up to the landing and put your bite there and then come back down, you'll be good. And then we want to try to make another loop on the downward flight of stairs as well. This one is a little less precise, and I have a note coming up here that a lot of these deployments are going to change based on how big the stairwells are, how long these runs of stairs are. So I get it all nice and flaked out. And then we come back to the floor below the fire where I still have a little bit left of the supply side. And at this point, there's going to be, you'll have your 3-inch, and for the training, we're going to have the gate valve on there, and it's going to be secured to the railing. And so you see here, I just kind of drape the coupling onto the railing. But you want to grab a bite of hose and just pull it into a straight line into the hallway. And of course, I've done this as just a one-person operation. Depending on your staffing levels, you could have 3 people in there, one person setting up the supply, the gate valve and all that. The lieutenant could be the one that's pulling that on the floor below and scouting out the layout of the apartments and all that. And then your firefighter on the nozzle setting that down and pulling the bites of hose and flaking all that out. But I just want to show kind of how everything's going to get done, and then how everybody gets it done is going to be kind of crew specific. And then I just kind of go through from the supply down the hallway and then back up to the nozzle. This is just kind of what the end result would look like. So you've got a bite of hose coming down the stairs. And then you got a bite of hose going up the stairs. And of course, you know, this isn't charged or anything like that. So once you charge it, it becomes its own thing. And then here's a shot of me deploying this on my own. And you can see it ends up being about, there's a 75-foot mark where that black mark is. It ends up being about 80 feet or so. So for our next video, we're going to go over the hallway stretch for Tenable hallway. This scenario is one in which the fire is contained to the apartment. As the person leaves the apartment, the door shuts behind them, and so everything's contained to that apartment. So whenever we get to the fire floor, we open the door to the hallway, and it's clean. It's not IDLH. You don't have to be on air. And so that means that we can deploy dry hose line all the way up to the fire room. So here we are on the floor below the fire, and we're just going to keep on walking, and we'll come back later to make our connection to supply. We're going all the way up to the fire floor. We're going to drop that bundle again, trying to drop it with the attack side on top. If you don't drop it with the attack side on top, just be deliberate with how you unpack it. Undo your buckles, take your supply half and push it off to the side, and then get your attack side. Don't just dump it. If you dump it, you're setting yourself up for some trouble. So we're going to undo the buckles. I'm talking to myself a little bit. I'm going to grab the nozzle and then a coupling. It's that coupling that's on top, so I know that it's the one that goes with that section of hose. And I've pulled it out basically to a simulated fire door, but I can tell that I've got my other coupling right here. So I've got 100 feet of hose that's out there right now. I brought a coupling with me, and there's another coupling right there. So I've got another 50 feet that's in the stairwell. I still want to use this upstairs portion, just like in the stairwell stretch. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull a bite up to the half landing, but since we deployed so much into the hallway, there's not going to be much hose left. So there's going to be just a tiny little bit left to go down for making our connection to supply. See, I pretty much got it all right there. And this is where, if you haven't lashed your supply to the railing yet, see if they can bring it up a little farther. If they've got an extra section of hose, maybe they can, maybe that's the time to lengthen your supply reach a little bit. But you can see now I've got my supply connection going on the floor below, and we go up. We've got a bite of hose going up above us. Doesn't quite reach all the way to that half landing. And then it just goes back down and straight into the hallway, the tenable hallway, the fire floor. And that's how you do the hallway stretch with the bundle.